We can tell you about fruits. Sure. What do you want to know? This is called a sink stopper. This is the sink stopper fruit. This is Ilama. We can see that it looks reminiscent of other fruits that you may have seen. It's in the Annona family, or the Annonaceae, and there are a wide variety of Annonacea plants, including things like pond apple, sugar apple, cherimoya, atamoya, sweet sop, sour sop, nonas, rollinia, which is my favorite, and Ilama. Its color actually is a bit of a giveaway to its flavor. It actually is sort of a raspberry vanilla pudding, and you buy them rock hard. Miraculously, somehow they go soft. Today it has begun to go soft. Tomorrow it will be ready to eat. And it's got a bunch of little black seeds. Each segment of the fruit, it looks something, it's broken in segments, something like an artichoke is broken in segments. So each segment has a related seed on the inside. So there's a lot of fruit, but there are a lot of little black seeds. You don't eat the seeds. That's the... Unlikely that you'll get Ilama here. It is, I would say in a few years, you'll be seeing more Ilama this far north. At the moment, it's primarily sold South Florida only in the United States. I haven't seen it even in Hawaii. So I can't tell you the original origin. It's grown anywhere within the tropical belt, anywhere within 1,000 miles of the equator, around the world. That's Ilama. This is another tropical fruit that is grown all around the world. You have actually had experience with this fruit, or certainly with the tree. In most of the Caribbean, this is called the Nispera, or the Nispera, which is Dutch origins. In India, where this is a very common fruit, it's known as chiku. Here in the southeast, you will see them sold as sapodilla. There are many varieties of sapodilla. Some are perfectly spherical, some are a little flatter, some are elongated like this, some look like duck egg shape, almost perfect duck egg. There's a lot of varieties. Some have immediately under the skin a little bit of red, some have immediately under the skin a little bit of green. They have a beautiful flat black seed. The fruit tastes like a pear that was baked with the tiniest hint of cinnamon behind that. This is another one that is absolutely rock hard when picked, and the softer you let it get before you eat it, the happier you'll be. By the time you eat it, it wants to be easily as soft as a peach, on its way to becoming pudding. The skin is very thin and perfectly edible. Sapodillas range in size from marble size to as grand as these. These are about as good as they get. Easy to grow where I live because we have no squirrels. However, if you go to islands that have squirrels, the squirrels like these. And they're still easy to grow, but they're hard to harvest. They are certainly in my top 10 list of favorite fruits. Again, we have rock hard here today. There's no telling, I would say 3 or 4 days, though, before this is going to start to go. It segments much like a tangerine. I'll pass it around. If you take a look, you can probably see where the segments are. They're not as profound as a tangerine. When you break it open in half, you can see that there are segments. The experience you've had with the sapodilla tree is that there is a sap in the sapodilla tree, which is a very latexy sap. It's exceptionally sticky. And the sap of the sapodilla tree, if you let it on your hands, roll it around in a ball a little bit, you can dry out the excess fluid, and what you are left with is a substance called chicle. It's a very chewy substance, and if you've ever eaten chiclets, that's where chicle has found its use. Amazing, right? We're going to make us gum rather than sell us the phenomenal fruit. And this is true so many, many times. The fruit of the cacao is to die for delicious. They don't sell us the fruit of the cacao. They roast the seeds and sell us chocolate. Yeah. Maybe the fruit is to live for, the seeds are to die for. So those are those two.
What are your 10 top?
It's an amorphous list. There's probably at least 20 fruits in my top 10 list. But in my top 10, they're all fruit, for sure. I don't even usually mention my top 10 list because, honestly, most people have only heard of 1 or 2 of them. So it's just names go by like a foreign language.
Why don't you see any guavas in the market?
Why don't you see guavas in the market? Or guavas in the market? part of why we don't see guava in the market is because if they're grown organically, they will have worms. They have not figured a way to keep the worms out of a guava. If they're not grown organically, they still have worms. And the largest grower of guava in the United States is in Hawaii, on the island of Kauai. And on that farm, I have been there, I've opened up their guavas that they are not growing organically, and every guava that I opened had worms. But they don't sell the guavas. They make paste out of them, they make jam out of them, they make juice out of them. But if you ever do find guavas and you don't want to be bothered by the worms, one of my friends, a local grower down in Florida, came up with a technique so that you'll never see any more worms in your guavas, and that is to eat them at night. They don't ship well or keep well is why you don't tend to see them in the market. And because of their distinctive aroma, which the smell is like cat urine, a lot of people find it objectionable in the markets.